It's 2018 and the year's biggest Smash tournament has been won for a second time in a row by a player piloting a overtuned DLC character. Wait, what? It's 2023 and the year's biggest Smash tournament has been won for a second time in a row by a player piloting a overtuned DLC character. So it's obvious at this point that Steve from Minecraft Bedrock Edition for Xbox One, iOS, Android, Nintendo Switch, PS4, PS5, iPad, Xbox Series X and Amazon Fire is a character that is due for changes. And while releasing such an overtuned DLC character is a good way to ensure that competitive players will move on to the next Smash game, it does leave kind of a bad afterthought. One that won't go away because the final patch for Ultimate happened almost 2 years ago. But what if it didn't? What if we lived in a world where Nintendo released one more patch just to nerf Steve? What could be some good changes to put this teal t-shirt, blue trouser wearing, definitely smiling and not a beard having blocky guy back in its place? There are a lot of things you could reasonably nerf when looking at Steve, so let's just start with something simple. Minecart! This move is fucking busted. Easily a top 3 move in the game in my opinion. Potentially the best even. It does good damage, kills, is a combo starter, combo finisher, recovery tool, helps you get out of disadvantage, command grab, and a kill confirm. You name it, Minecart can probably do it. And that is also not to mention the powered up version of the move where all of these get amplified even more. Like seriously, why is it so strong? When talking about Steve, this is 100% a move that needs to be addressed. So I would suggest multiple things. First, make Steve have to sit in the minecart for longer before being able to jump out. This would make it harder for him to combo out of the move, and it would also mean that there is a longer amount of time before the move is able to become a command grab, as Steve will still be in it. Another is that I would just make the move straight up weaker, especially the powered version. It really has no reason to be as strong as it is. A big problem I have with the move is that it's just really spammable. If you ever get hit out of it, you really don't have a reason to not instantly use it again because it's just so good, even with these nerfs. So I would implement a cooldown in the same vein as Wario Bike, where for 5 seconds after a minecart disappears, you can't use it again. With all of this though, I think it would still remain as a really strong move, while being a bit less overtuned. While Minecart in a vacuum is in my opinion Steve's strongest move, the real problem with the character is the risk-reward ratio when in regards to Steve camping and having to approach him. Not many characters can consistently deal well with Steve camping behind a wall and mining, which is eventually snowballs, to Steve getting better tools and mining even faster. Approaching him when he just has wood tools and dirt walls can already be a pain for a lot of characters. So when you make his moves and walls even stronger, then that makes it almost impossible for some to get to him, which I think should be changed. So, make his blocks deteriorate quicker and make all of them, except for maybe dirt, require less damage to break. Make mining go slower in general for all level of tools, and as a bonus make him also be able to only have 1 diamond max at a time. However, another reason the risk reward is so skewed in Steve's favor is just because of how good his moves are in general. His normals are so good that even with the changes I previously proposed, I believe Steve would probably still sit around high tier. So why not rob Steve of more of his best qualities? Let's take a look at another one of his insanely overpowered moves. This time, up tilt! A combo starter that can be used at least 3 times a second that's also -3 on shield? That's just the wood version, diamond is -1 on shield. Honestly, just double the end lag because, you know, that means less safe on shield, less brain dead spammable move, and that's all you really need. But speaking of diamond, you might as well nerf every single one of those moves because what the fuck. But only really F-Smash and Bear are the standout problems, the rest are fine. I think making them kill like 10% later would be fine, other with giving them both like maybe 5 more frames of end lag. These changes would of course also go for the other versions of the moves. I think this would absolve a lot of the pressure Steve dishes out considering that those moves won't be able to be spammed as recklessly as they are now. Now, onto the rest of his moveset. Up smash? That's fine, it's a solid anti-air and out of shield option, but it does have a lot of end lag to balance it out. Down smash again is strong, but also punishable and not really that overtuned. Down tilt. Why is it plus on shield? Change that please, thank you. Down air, oh yeah, make that weaker and laggier because what the fuck. Keep its shield breaking potential though, I kinda like that. With all of that, Steve would probably still be mid tier, right? I still think he would have solid combo potential and an abundant amount of creative options left, with blocking combination with the rest of his moveset. I really think that with some of these nerfs, Steve would be mostly fine. It's a shame because conceptually he's very cool. the only character in the game that can change his stage, but the way it's implemented just motivates players to camp and run and camp again, because, you know, you get rewarded for it. So in the next Smash game that will eventually happen, because let's be honest, of course it will, I really hope Steve stays around to potentially see a version of the character that isn't as broken as he is now. However, considering the fact that Steve is never going to get nerfed in Ultimate, it does leave one huge looming question. Should Steve be banned? And man, I don't know.